bread on the table and so on and so forth. And they are actively involved in this. They become the participants. They are the ones also involved in looking for a solution rather than being fed with a solution.
Thank you, Mr. President. Jim Braithwaite, Chairman of MIAFRICIA, Honorary Counsel for South Africa, and former Chairman of the South East England Development Agency, our lead economy here in the UK. My question is about trade versus aid. The Chinese at the moment are attracting a lot of criticism for the way that they're treating Africa. Do you think we've got it right in Europe? You've had lots of visits from the UK, from France and other European countries. Are we getting it right?
Your Excellency, Carl Wright, Secretary General of the Commonwealth Local Government Forum. I had the chance to meet the Mayor of Kigali recently at one of our meetings, and I was quite impressed by the extent of local empowerment and local government service delivery in Rwanda. The question I have is really, what is your vision underlying the process of decentralization, which in some respects goes much further than what is available to some authorities in this country and indeed many other Commonwealth countries? And do you see that process of decentralization in Rwanda as contributing also to the reconciliation process in your country? Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Leslie Birinda. I am, I think, the only British widow of the Rwandan genocide. My Rwandan husband was killed there in '94. I currently work for the Tutu Foundation in the UK, which is seeking to reduce conflict and tension amongst young people, particularly based on the Southern African concept of Ubuntu. And I was particularly appreciative of your emphasis on young people, and would like to ask what lessons we can learn from the mobilization that you have been able to effect amongst young people in Rwanda in bringing about reconciliation. What lessons can we learn in this country to work with our young people in conflict? Thank you.
Balanced trade and investment across the globe would have far more benefits in terms of development of our countries than aid. I think this is not just my view. As I see, there are many reasons that people have also been thinking like that, many other people. Why we wouldn't concentrate on that and remove the imbalances and allow trade to continue among the African countries themselves, and then Africa with the rest of the world, to the extent that we maximize the benefit of it, probably lies somewhere else. And that's why people need to keep challenging themselves to see why whatever bottlenecks are not removed. Aid, when we say, and when we are talking about trade versus aid, I want it to be understood clearly that we're not saying that aid should be stopped tomorrow or doesn't make sense or, shouldn't have happened and so on and so forth. No, but we also know that aid, in most cases, has created dependency. And in fact, we've seen lots of flows of aid recorded in billions of dollars over decades. The immediate simple question should be, no, but we should be having something coming out of this that has certainly addressed most of our problems. We don't see much for it. There are several reasons for that. Therefore, all we are saying is, while at the time aid is still needed, can we use it in such a way that it leaves a good legacy behind and leaves a foundation behind on which people who needed aid decades ago, today they shouldn't be needing aid, but aid should have left them with a foundation on which they need to continue building. And the problems here are not just with the aid, they are as such. It's not aid, it's also how it is used, it's even how it is given, and even the mindset in which it is given. Actually, when it is given, in some cases, it is a do-gooder helping somebody who needs that and who should continue to need it, so that people should continue to help. But if they helped people to help themselves and make sure that they move on. So the Chinese, I don't know what blame people would put on the Chinese that you wouldn't put on other people. They talk of Chinese, you know, exploiting or doing this or doing that. Well, I don't know. So maybe they just become an additional number to. So I think the thinking should cut across. should, and I think I prefer to say we probably need to do more ourselves on the side of Africa. Really, I shouldn't be blaming developed countries or the Chinese or that. I could leave that to someone else. Let me blame ourselves, the Africans, because we needed to step up our efforts in also making sure that we are not always viewed as just recipients of anything, whether it works or doesn't work, or perpetual recipients for that matter, or victims of this and that. No, we shouldn't be reduced to just complaining. We should stand up to this challenge ourselves. Yes, because they say Chinese bring bad money, you know, they damage the environment, or they take away raw materials and other resources almost for nothing and leave us with nothing. Yeah, suppose that was the case. Why should we be agreeing to that ourselves? Why should somebody bring nothing and take a lot of what we have? It's because you allow it. It's because we have accepted to be reduced to that level that anybody will come to our home and take whatever we have and leave us with nothing. So it's not just the other one to blame, it's also ourselves to blame. So I think the dialogue should be about challenging ourselves and challenging the others and saying, no, we deserve better, we can do better, and even do much more better if we work with each other fairly and treating each other fairly.